Welcome to We Don't Have Cookies with your host, Jason Marshall.
Hey everybody, this is the guy the girl just said the name of. This is the show the girl just said the name of. I kind of feel weird introducing the show after somebody just did it in the music, but before I get started, I just want to mention that I banned Brazil from listening to this podcast weeks ago. I think it was when the guy got this week's Dumbass of the Year like 2 or 3 weeks in a row, and all the stuff happening with the Olympics, and I just said they're not allowed to listen. Well, they haven't stopped, and this is your last warning. And if you think it's funny and start downloading the show by the thousands, I'm going to come over there and I'm going to break all your phones.
Yeah.
That's how it works. I don't want to be famous in your country, and I don't want you listening. Just cut it out.
Now go take a swim and pick up some trash.
Well, with me today was my very first guest on my very first podcast on my very first year. So I just thought it would be fitting that you would be my you would be my first guest for my second year.
Yay!
It's Mama Kate.
The masses are cheering. Princess wave, princess wave. These things don't translate well on radio, on a podcast.
Well, the first thing I want to get into, I wanted to make sure you were my first guest.
Uh-oh.
So I did a solo show because last week I tried to have you on for that and you weren't able to make it.
Yep.
Which I gave you kind of a hard time on that show. I didn't say your name and I clearly said that you were sick. It wasn't really your fault. But then I asked you to be on again and you had one of the oddest responses I've ever had.
Yeah.
I said, hey, do you want to be on the show this week? And you said, well, one time I thought my kid was missing.
I thought my kid was missing. My in-laws thought their youngest son was missing.
That's right.
Yes. And they did call the cops and had the whole neighborhood searching, and then they found him in the table. Asleep. But it was an accident. I got 2 messages at the same time. I got one from Jason. I got one from my neighbor. She had been looking for her daughter because our kids play together all the time. She's like, is she over there? No, she's not here. So I asked my kids, I'm like, where was she when you left? Because you just came home a little bit ago. And my son was like, she was going up. She was in her bedroom. It's like, I don't know. They said she's in her bedroom. So she texted me back a little bit later to say that they found her. She was asleep under her bed in her bedroom. I was replying to that message.
I thought it was a metaphor telling me to get lost.
No, but
you could have said that a little more directly.
the best part is I didn't even realize I had sent you that message until you messaged me back later. Like, wow. And I'm like, wow. What? Oh, damn it. I do stupid shit like that all the time.
I think my exact quote was, holy shit.
Yeah, holy shit. There you go. And the funny thing is I didn't even bother to send that text on to my neighbor because by that time it was hours later and it was like, it doesn't even matter. Who cares? I don't need to tell her this. So maybe if she's listening, that message was meant for you.
Yeah, I'd never got that before.
Yeah, I can see why that would throw you.
Yeah, it definitely did.
You're like, she's telling me to go fall asleep at a table? I'm not sure what the message is here.
Fuck your show.
Yeah, fuck your show. That's what I was saying. I'm still pissed about the cookie thing. Every week I say I want cookies and never get cookies.
I have ice cream sandwiches.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. But it's so fucking hot in here.
Yeah, it is.
That I don't know if they could get from the fridge to my mouth without melting.
It is very hot.
It's going to be a race against time.
Well, you're Catholic, right?
Yes. Well, I grew up Catholic. All my family's Catholic. My kids go to Catholic school, but I stopped going to church when I broke my leg, and then they stopped giving me a cut in the tuition because I hadn't been to Mass for 4 months because I was in a wheelchair with my leg 3 feet in the air with rods and pins sticking out of them. But
Understandable.
yeah, that wasn't a good enough reason. So they made me pay an extra $2,000 for my son to go to Central that year.
Wow.
So I told him, fuck you. Since that Catholic school came into being, I've had family members in there. You know, the only reason they don't know I go to Mass is because I didn't put an envelope in. You know?
Yeah.
So since I didn't put my envelope in, and so they took our tuition cut for being Catholic. So fuck them, I'm not Catholic anymore.
I was going to ask if you knew somebody, because this came up on the last show. I want somebody to perform an exorcism on the show, because I swear it's cursed.
This show is cursed? Or this?
It has to be.
Why is this show cursed?
It seems like every time I start to do something else like happens and it falls apart. And my birthday show was a good example. That didn't go as planned on so many levels.
Yeah. Even I had problems on the birthday show.
Yeah. Anytime I make an announcement on the show, unless it's already happened and in place, it usually falls apart. If I announce somebody's coming up as a guest,
you're counting
happens.
chickens. You're counting chickens. So
I just prefer to think it's some satanic thing that I just need to watch.
Maybe you get a priest to perform an exorcism. Well, last week I had the diarrheas. So you know when you wake up like out of sleep and you're like, oh my God, I gotta move right now, which is sad and limpy for me. Like desperately trying to reach the bathroom.
Where we're recording this, there's no door on the bathroom.
Yeah,
so that's not really a good thing.
Well, you know, you get through the first one and you know, you're like, yeah, I'm all right. You know, everything's good. I'm going to go back to bed. And then you wake back up like, oh my God, it's going again. This is a problem. This isn't a one-off poop explosion. So,
well, if you know somebody who can do the exorcism.
Yeah. Also from in my ass. I'd like you to exorcise the beasts from my ass. From my ass. Actually, priests are really weird about exorcisms. Most priests will not do an exorcism. But I have seen an episode of Ghost Adventures where they had an exorcism in Cincinnati. So there's a priest, I think, down in like Cincinnati, Kentucky that you might be able to get a hold of.
I might do that. I really want to do it. I just think it's going to be really hard to get somebody to be like, oh, you want me to perform this religious thing on the comedy podcast where you just kind of laugh it off? Okay.
I don't know.
Not that I would too much laugh it off, because I am serious. I want to get somebody.
But you know what you could do, which would be way, way easier to get, is to have somebody bless your show.
Yeah. That's what I should do.
So
if anybody out there knows somebody who can bless this show,
I nominate Dwight McCormick.
Think he'd do it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to get a hold of him.
Are you kidding? Dwight farts blessings.
Which, he's a comedian. I've done a show with him before. He's a really good guy.
He is a really good guy. And
I don't know him too well, but that's the vibe I got.
He's very active in the community, you know, on civil rights issues, and he is a pastor at a church, is very open and welcoming to everybody. I've considered going to his church just because I know him and I know that, you know, our beliefs and value systems are very similar, and his wife and girls are very nice. So I think you would do all right to have Dwight come. Maybe he can do it on the show.
Yeah, that's what I want.
He's way cleaner than me, so you could actually tout it as like a family show.
That's exactly what I want, too. If it happens, it has to be recorded.
Yeah.
That's the other problem I'm probably going to have with an exorcism.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that they'd
Are
be
you
like,
kidding?
oh, you want to
Priests and pastors bless all kinds of shit. They're having a blessing of the book bags today.
Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, not that I went to church, because fuck all that. But
how's that work?
I think they have the kids bring their backpacks full of their supplies or whatever, and they take them up to the altar and say a blessing and
never lose a pencil again.
Exactly, which is bullshit. I buy so many pencils and pencil sharpeners. I've gotten so good at sharpening a pencil with a knife because I always have unsharpened pencils and no pencil sharpener. They disappear like magic.
Well, you know, speaking of religion, I wasn't really... this happened a few weeks ago, and I wasn't planning on bringing it up on the show, but I thought, you know what, I think we'll talk about it this week.
Let's get down to it.
Yeah, I'm not going to say the guy's name, but he was a good friend of mine for a long time. And I don't think I brought this up on the show either, but Kenny Bullen was having a pretty serious medical issue. He was in the hospital and wasn't really sure he was going to make it out. Kenny has had some issues with his health for a very long time, and it really messed with me.
Yeah.
I mean, I was very upset.
You guys have been friends for a while, so it's,
Yeah, I was thinking about actually driving to Kentucky just to see him in the hospital. It's like a 4-hour drive from here, but when you don't know if you're going to see somebody again, I mean, what's 4 hours?
4 hours, yeah.
I posted on Facebook that if anybody prays, send a couple up Kenny's way because he really needs it. And nobody should take their life or anybody else's for granted because nobody's promised the next day and you don't know if you're going to see someone again. Well, the next morning I get a Facebook message from a buddy of mine, and it just said, asking people to talk to the sky isn't really going to do anything for the person who's sick or whatever. And I thought, the or whatever shows you didn't even read what the fuck I said. Then he added a little emoji with like a laughing face with tears shooting out. And I thought, how inappropriate is that shit? I know you don't believe in God, and to be honest, I'm not really sure if I'm there either. I mean, I don't know if I'm an atheist. I might be atheish.
Atheish. Trademark.
What would give you the balls to send somebody a message like that? To be like, hey, I know you're really hurting right now. I know you're emotionally distraught, and I know your friend's about to die, but your little sky man's stupid. What
exactly. There are just times when you just don't need to say anything, know, and
it's like, what kind of cheap thrill are you getting out of this?
I see it all the time, and I don't understand if. I had somebody comment on a picture of my daughter, which I clearly said was my daughter. It was a very lovely picture of us at the lake. And some person that I really don't even know said, is that a man? And that just, to me, that goes over and beyond what is acceptable to say. I understand that we're comedians and, as comedians, we expect roasting. We expect to roast others, all comedians, pick on each other, joke at each other's expense. That's expected, but you just don't take that outside into somebody's personal life. Like mess with me, fine. Don't mess with my teenage daughter.
Especially when she's tagged in the picture.
Yeah, exactly. Like she's going to see this. Her friends are going to see this. This is not. It's not cool, man. It's not cool.
I really didn't understand where that was supposed to be going. I mean, you're not going to get anything out of that.
Yeah, and I think some people just enjoy watching people get pissed off and see how many comments they can get from people and how much they can get people to say what an asshole you are. Personally, I don't get off on people thinking I'm an asshole, even though many people have. Trust me, I still have a kid who hates me from 5th grade. Apparently, I broke his pencil. Like he had this pencil and I just took it from him and snapped it in half. I have no recollection of this time at all. But he still holds a grudge against me for this and talked to my sister about it, about how I had wronged him in this way.
Wow.
And so I'm like, wow, I was a bigger asshole than I realized. Like we all do things, but as grown adults, there's a time where you're like, you know what? Maybe I just shouldn't be an asshole right now. Maybe I should just scroll past this one.
It doesn't make sense. But you're going to be booking a show here soon.
They're some friends of mine and they have this club and they want to do a show, but we haven't set a firm date, so I'm still kind of holding off on that. I'm hoping to use it as my building place.
Okay. Is this your first time booking a show on your own?
No. We actually ran this show at the same club at Diesel for almost 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Once a month. But they've changed owners a couple times now. So, I was doing more shows for other people, so didn't necessarily have time to be booking shows. So I just kind of let it go. But now I'm getting that show back because they want it, and why not? So not saying I'm like a regular show booker because that's not really what I'm into. whatever. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Just shut the fuck up, Katie. Why? I'm just rambling today. I'm just like, blah, blah, blah. Stupid shit, stupid shit. And it's not even jokes. I'm not even being funny. I'm just like, let's talk about me. Yeah, let's talk. What else about me?
I tried to find a clever segue, but there's So I'm just going to tell everybody out there, if you like coffee, you should be drinking Black Rifle coffee. It's strong coffee for strong people.
It's a straight shooter, just like me.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because it's owned and operated by Special Forces vets. Mm-hmm. Check them out, blackriflecoffee.com. We're going to have a cup and we'll be back.
I'd have sex with you if your body looked like it does with clothes on. And I'd have sex with you if my friends would never find out. I'd have sex with you if I could watch really good porn in the background. And I'd have sex with you if I were a lesbian. You're so in my league. I'm so not in yours. I'd have sex with you if you weren't surrounded by beautiful women. And I'd have sex with you, but you haven't shaved your legs. I'd have sex with you, but I'd rather jack off to someone hotter. And I'd have sex with you if I had that flashy thingy from Men in Black. Ka-choo! But I don't have the flashy thingy, so we'd both remember. I'd have sex with you if having sex means having sex with your hot friend. And I'd have sex with you if I could charge you by the minute. I'd have sex with you if your face looked like it does on Facebook. And I'd have sex with you, but you won't have sex with me.
And now, an angry Dalai Lama tweet.
Genuine peace in the world depends on our having peace in our hearts. If we're full of anger, how can we expect to bring peace?
Want to contact the show? Send an email to jason@wedon'thavecookies.com.
You can also call 929-266-9342, leave a voicemail, and I don't know if I'll play it, but chances are I will.
Do you get many voicemails?
No, not too many. I don't know. The whole reason I started it is because I get a text when you leave a voicemail and it tells me what you say.
Oh, yeah. I love to see the translations.
Yeah. And I was going to just go back and forth and read the text and then play the voicemail, but so far, nothing really that I want to play. No offense. Maybe that's not
Your messages are shit, people. Come up with something better.
Sorry. Somebody calls is just like, thanks for calling. We don't have. They just repeated the voicemail message and then they laughed and hung up. And I'm like, well, it's kind of funny. But I don't know if I want to go through the trouble of downloading the message and then reading the It just seemed like it was too much trouble for something that. Sorry.
Stupid. You were stupid.
Sorry. I apologize to whoever did that. It was a good effort, I guess. I don't know what to say to bring that back. But try again or something.
Come up with something original. Call back, would you?
And somebody else just said hi and hung up. And it's like, well, first of all, the text came through just fine. Yeah. They didn't really complicate it. Yeah. I'm not sure I want to just be like, and here's a voicemail. And it's just some girl going, hi. And like, that's not really the point.
He probably didn't mean to call you. It was some lady's toddler playing with their phone.
So just kind of get the concept of what we're looking for.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to do anything funny. Just do
more than high. Don't repeat the message back.
Yeah. Just, give a little bit of feedback or have something to say.
You want to wish your cat the happy birthday,
Leave a question for that would be awesome if they left a question for a guest.
Yeah, that would be good.
Because I got a button on the Facebook page. If you go to Facebook/We Don't Have Cookies, there's a button right on on the Facebook page that you can click, and I see where people click it, and I get the voicemail, and it's just them hanging up. I guess they want to say something, but then they get weirded out and just hang up the phone, and
Yeah.
I don't know. So just try harder. I don't know. I don't know where this is going.
Good try, Jason. Good try.
I like you
get him
guys.
next time.
Speaking of disappointments,
We're not talking about your sex life again, Jason.
I saw a news story. I was really psyched because in Cambodia, which is where all the cool news comes from,
Yeah.
there was a story where in Cambodia they made a machine. This is the headline anyway. It was a machine that made heart-shaped clouds, which how can I not click on that? That sounds awesome. And apparently they're just foam. It's not really a cloud.
That's headline news in Cambodia. Anybody can visit Crafts 2000 and make a heart-shaped cloud.
It seemed a little, I don't know, misleading.
Yeah.
But I guess it's badass, and when wind blows, it floats away. So enjoy
So it's
that.
heart-shaped litter for everyone.
Well, I did read the article, and they do more than hearts. So if you have a
Well,
design,
I imagine
I'm
you
sure
could
it's
put
not
a
hard.
different stencil on there and get whatever design you wanted, but it's still just trash you're releasing into the world.
That was the most disappointing story, man. I had my hopes set so high on this story. Like, wow,
Don't you hate when that
they
happens?
can make heart-shaped clouds. That's pretty badass. And then you see their foam, and you just instantly don't give a shit.
Not nearly as cool as they advertised. Boo.
Another story that we seem to do a lot of is people stealing food. I think I've had a few with you where, cheese thefts and people stole a bunch of caviar. And they put it in the back of a hearse, and they were trying to transport it over the border from Russia to China. This one, I don't understand where they're going with it. In Canada, some thieves stole 5,000 gallons of maple syrup from a truck worth
That's big business.
$60,000. Is it?
You know how long it takes to milk a tree for its syrup? I mean,
No idea.
how little syrup you get out of a maple tree. I only know because I've watched Franklin cartoon, and all the animals on the Franklin cartoon work together to see who can collect the most maple syrup. And then they'll that's the maple that they'll use. They'll get their own syrup, but it takes all of their maple syrup together to make the maple syrup. So according to Franklin, which people probably don't remember that there was a Turtle Franklin cartoon, Bear with his friend, Beaver, Goose, they all hung out. Except he had a pet goldfish, which I think is weird. When animals who can talk have pets, that cannot talk. We're like, fish, no, we draw the line at talking fish. That's just fucking stupid.
Yeah, that is odd. I don't know. But where are you going to sell this stuff? I mean, it's already packaged and everything, so it'll be easy for you to sell. But where are you going to sell?
They're taking it over the border into the U.S.
Maybe. Because it's, let's see.
You imagine how expensive that shit is in Arizona? There's no maple trees for miles and miles.
They said it was $60,000 worth.
Yeah.
There's a $10,000 reward, which they admit is pretty low.
So be on the lookout for a truck on the side of the road selling maple syrup.
They seem somewhat apologetic for the reward. Oh, man.
I think Cracker Barrel's in on it.
That could be it. Could be the Cracker family just heisting
Exactly.
trucks.
They're like, we need maple syrup, and fuck those Canadians and all their high prices.
Are you scared of heights? I'm not a heights person, man. I get up so high, and then I start getting, I don't know, my palms get sweaty, and if I go a little bit higher than that, I don't know. I'm not big on it.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on the situation and how safe I feel. Like I've gone up onto high monuments and stuff, and they don't, it doesn't bother me. But, like the Eiffel Tower at Kings Island, where it's just this piece of steel that's been there forever that clearly has had no maintenance, and this looks rickety and rusty. And I'm like, I just don't feel safe up here.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
There was a guy in China who was in Hong Kong. He climbed up the skyscraper and he got a skateboard and he's balancing it on the ledge of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I was watching the video and I was getting nervous for the guy. I mean, clearly everything went well because he posted the video.
Yeah, he did manage, to at least press send. So we know at least one finger survived.
But he got cocky, man. He had the skateboard facing out towards traffic. And then when he was done, he turned it around and he had the wheels where they were across the beam so it could roll at any minute. And he's balancing that way. I mean, it was, to me, I would have been terrified.
I can't ride a Vespa around the block. There's no way. I'm trying to balance on a skateboard and a skyscraper. Right?
I'm going to have that video on the Facebook page, though. So just go to facebook.com/we don't have cookies. You can check it out.
More power to him.
I wonder if the guy who was trying to climb Trump Tower had a skateboard in his backpack.
I know.
Maybe that's all he was trying to do. He's just like, I'm going to one-up that guy.
I wonder what his end game was there. He's like, I got to take these suction cups and climb up Trump Tower. And then,
For a minute.
The problem with achieving your life goals, though, what do you do then?
For a mentally ill guy, he had a good plan. I mean, he had the suction cups. I mean, they were clearly good quality.
Yeah.
It was impressive he got as far as he did. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I guess I just don't have that level of insanity.
Nah. Like, no, I don't think most people do.
Like, word-wise, anything could come out of my mouth. Like, physically, when it comes to harm to my body, I'm the most cautious person. I will say anything. But as far as what I do, I'm like, I don't even ride the fucking Ferris wheel. And people make fun of me for that, and they make fun of me for that. But then you see kids falling out of Ferris wheels. Yeah,
that's
at
true.
State fairs all over. So, fuck your mockery. They're probably more cautious about the food trucks. There's probably more regulation on a food truck than a Ferris wheel.
Maybe. Speaking of trucks. This Chinese family. They led San Diego police on a chase. Unintentionally. Because they didn't know they were required to pull over if you have a police car behind you with their lights on and sirens going. A few miles later, they pulled over to see why these people were following them.
What's the problem? What's the commotion?
You're being very distracted.
I know. How am I supposed to drive with these lights and sirens? I guess that is, if you don't know, you don't know.
Different cultures.
Well,
I don't know. That kind of seems universal, though.
They had a student at Wittenberg who drove one of the golf carts off campus to Walgreens, and then was stopped by the cops, and the cops took him back to campus, and they were like, "What are you thinking? Taking this golf cart to Walgreens?" But apparently, he was from Louisiana. In Louisiana, they drive golf carts everywhere. Okay. So. You figured it was street legal. Why not drive it? So, I can see where he's coming from. If that's what they do where he's from.
Well, the most impressive part to me was the lady gets out. She explains herself. And the story ends with the police giving her kid a high five.
Little heartwarming wrap up to that one. Everybody lived happily ever after.
Diplomacy prevailed.
All right, you're Chinese. So clearly the moral of the story is just act like you didn't know. Oh, I didn't know. But only if you're white. Don't do that if you're black.
Good point. Another thing you should only do if you're white, I guess. There was a lady who was filmed driving down the road. She was driving down the road.
Using her foot?
Yeah, while she was texting.
Yeah.
And that actually, once I started looking into that story, that wasn't the first time that's came out this week. There's been a few stories of people doing that just this week. I didn't bother going further.
That's crazy.
That,
I don't have that kind of flexibility, I guess, to get my feet up to the steering wheel.
I'll tell you, to be honest, that was one of my first thoughts when I read that. Was like, Where was she when I was single? Because she was very flexible.
That is amazing. If she will use her foot to text and drive, imagine what she would do
Yeah.
with her boyfriend while she's driving. I mean, it's no holds barred. It's just whatever you can think of. The sky's the limit.
I was talking to somebody about self-driving cars a while back. They were the ones that brought it up, and they said something about just imagine all the stuff you could do. And I'm like, what? And they were like, just think about it. I understand what they're saying, but do you really want a self-driving car when people's getting like their computers hacked and their information taken? Like, what's stopping somebody from just hacking your car, driving it off a bridge? Or I mean, I don't know.
Do you know how hard it is to have sex in a car? I mean, the steering wheel, the console, there's just so many impediments. So I'm pretty sure you still got to be in the driver's seat. Like, you can't just be like, car, take me away, and sit in the back and do some paperwork or something, you know?
You just do the old hillbilly trick where you put a cinder block there to keep it down.
I'll be fine.
My favorite driving story, if you can call it that, of the week, and I posted on Facebook that we were going to talk about this today. It was a bar called Derailed that was hit by a derailed train.
Great, yeah.
That was great.
Irony. Yeah. Did I ever tell you the cat story?
One thing, just real quick.
Okay.
The bar was hit by a train, and they said it caused $10,000 worth of damage to this bar, which seems pretty fucking low.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking too. I'm like, that's pretty cheap. We just need some new cinder blocks and some paint. We'll
Just
be
get some
fine.
duct tape.
Yeah, it'll be good.
I wanted to talk about this, but I didn't know if there was a place for it on the show, and now I created one. There's a mailbox around the corner, and it's just duct taped on. And they have duct tape all around this mailbox. But they splurged to get letters or numbers to put on the side of it.
Hey, you got to have
So,
priorities.
Yeah. I mean, a mailbox is what, $10?
I mean, if somebody's going to vandalize your mailbox, though, I mean, they're not going to pull the stickers off. So that's a pretty good investment. You know, that's going to hold. You know?
I always wondered how long it's been there because I just started driving a different way.
Oh, yeah.
And happened to notice it because I usually don't go by their house. So I just have to wonder, how long has this been? There are some people around the corner from them that had a, I forget what you call it. You know, where like Jesus is in the manger and stuff and all
A
the wise.
nativity scene?
Yeah, they had a nativity scene out like months after Christmas. I think they just took it down like 3
There are
months,
people that
couple
I
months
drive
ago.
by who don't ever take it down, but it's not like in the yard. It's this huge, like, plastic people that they have hung on their house.
Wow.
Yeah, and then in the yard is like an Easter bunny and then a Santa Claus, and I mean, it's really about the nativity scene, but there's also some minor characters at play
That's a
in
good
the
way
yard.
to go. You just throw a tarp over it, and when it's time, you yank that off.
No tarp, it's for year-round enjoyment.
Jesus. What was your cat story?
Oh, I had just had my son and we went to my in-laws for dinner and I had forgotten formula. So I go out to the car.
Oh, you milked a cat.
No, I go out to the car.
Fockers?
No, I'm going to go home to get, some formula. And I get in the car and we left the windows down because it was summertime. And when I get in the car, I start the car, I push in the clutch, I take off the emergency brake, and all of a sudden I hear, and I looked behind me and there's this cat, all puffed out, all his fur standing up, arched back, like ready to rip me to shreds. This cat's looking at me like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Like, he's in the back of the car. This is now his car. So I freak out because I'm allergic to cats, and so I'm afraid I'm about to get just tore up by this cat, and then I'm going to swell up, and it's gonna be all bad. So I get out of the car, but I forgot I put my seatbelt on. So I jerk out, I push my seatbelt, and I kind of flop out of the car onto the ground. Well, the car starts shaking and just starts going forward and rolling down the hill. And the cat jumps out and takes off. I don't know what to do. I'm laying in the street watching the car roll down the street, and it's like heading towards the neighbor's car. And I'm like, oh shit, but at least the neighbor's car is going to stop it, right? No. Hits the neighbor's car, pushes it up onto the sidewalk, and then our car just keeps rolling down the hill. So at this point, I'm like, shit. My husband comes out. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, the car. He takes off running down the street to get the car, catches up to the car, but it has automatic locks that lock at 15 miles an hour. So the car's locked and he can't get in. So there's nothing we can do but stand there and watch this car keep going. It rolls down, hits the neighbor's garage, doesn't stop there,
Damn.
like skims the garage, gets back down onto the street, goes across Belmont through traffic. I can't believe nobody hit it. Goes past into the neighbor's yard and hits another tree. And that's when it finally stopped.
What kind of car was this?
It was a 1994 Geo Metro.
Okay, I was expecting something very heavy.
A Geo fucking Metro. And I hated this car and I wanted to buy a new car. You know, Andy's always like, no, we don't need to buy a new car. And so I'm standing at the top of this hill, watch this car smash into this pine tree. And I'm like, yeah, nobody got hurt and I get a new car. My husband runs down the street and starts that motherfucker right up. I'm like, damn it. He drove that bitch for like 5 more years.
Damn.
Yes. It had a big crease in the middle where it hit the pine tree. But of course, like when the dust all settles and I explain what happened, my husband like, there wasn't any cat in the car, Katie. There was no cat. What are you talking about? You know, when I got down the car, there was no cat in there. I'm like, well, he must have escaped. So there's always been this question of whether or not there really was even a cat. There was a cat. All right. I don't care what my husband says. There was a cat. So that was my most impressive driving story. The best accident I ever had without even being in the car.
It sounds pretty awesome. When it first started, my favorite movie is Meet the Parents.
Oh, yeah.
And when you first started talking about the baby formula and it being a cat story.
Oh, yeah, it's a milking the cat with this tiny cat in the boot. Yeah, no, I didn't try to milk a cat. Actually, that was right about that time that movie came out, actually. I've done some somewhat stupid yet impressive things. I mean, besides the wreck on the Vespa, I've managed to hit 2 parking blocks, like the whole ones. That show you like, hey, stop. And I like managed to like ram my van like right in between the 2 of them. So I had like 2 matching yellow stripes down the side. Yeah.
Here in Ohio, we have drive-thrus where you can go in and you can just buy beer. Mm-hmm. Normally, they have these 2 poles.
I can't believe other people don't have them. I can't.
Yeah, I know. That's why I made sure to explain it for people.
Yeah, except we are the
if
most.
You don't have them.
We are very unhealthy. So that's probably why. It's because we have to get out of our car to get our beer and cigarettes and our snacks. So.
Well, they usually have these 2 posts in front of it, so you can drive straight through and not hit the building.
Yeah. Like, hey, our building's right here. Yeah. Stop.
One day I went to the drive-thru and I hit one of those poles. And I backed up and went in. They told me not to worry about it. And they still, for whatever reason, thought it was okay to sell me beer. Like, clearly I'm too drunk. I don't condone drinking and driving. I'm just telling a story. But
I was at the family business one day getting stuff, and they have a pole for some random reason, like kind of close to the building. This is really, it's like show like parking spaces. Like, hey, this is where our parking spaces are. And it's painted bright yellow, and it had an orange cone on top, and I still hit it.
Here's a story that I told you we'd get to because you have something you want to say after this. It's an Oregon porta potty was found with tons of marijuana plants inside.
Sweet.
Hydroponic.
I take it this wasn't like a used porta potty.
Yeah, it was right off a bike trail.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's how the guy found it. He was walking his dog and decided to use the restroom. He goes in, there's all these pot plants. He can't even go inside.
I say, that's the part that would piss me off the most. And be like, now where the fuck am I going to pee? Well, I clearly have to pull the plant first and harvest it, and then go pee.
Why would you do that? I guess maybe you figure you were coming back for it later that night, like you own a porta potty business?
I don't think so. I bet
don't
somebody
know.
dropped their bag in the porta potty and the seeds it started growing in there.
It was really fertile. Oh, that's
Although
sick.
I do have a friend who will take, when he travels, he will take a thing of all the seeds that he's collected, pot seeds, and he'll just randomly throw them places. And he figures that it'll just keep the cops busy, just finding these random plants, that he's planted everywhere. So he has no intention of going back and getting them. He doesn't care, if they grow or not. But, he just puts them out everywhere he goes. He plants these seeds. And I'm like, hey, seems like a good idea to me.
Oh, man. I love that.
Yeah.
Johnny Potseed. Going around spreading.
But you know what? I feel bad for the guy's girlfriend because that she was like, I can't pee in there. There's pot. And he's like, well, just pee in a bush. Just go pee in a bush. Because guys are always trying to convince us. See, our anatomy is not the same as your anatomy. Like, you guys just point and shoot, all right? You don't understand. Like, we're not straight shooters. The stream doesn't come out of like a pistol, like a water gun. It's down your legs. It's all over your clothes. It's going to the right. It's going to the left. You gotta like sumo squat to even hope that you're not gonna get something wet. You about damn near gotta get naked, because you can't squat like that and have underwear on. It's just physically impossible. So just stop telling us. That's what I hate most about camping, because my husband's always like, his dream is to go hike the Appalachian Trail. For 2,000 miles. It takes months. Wow. You have to have somebody send you supplies, because it's not like you can carry everything, you know. So you have like certain stops you got to make along the way. And of course, you poop wherever you poop and you cover it up and you do your business wherever. I'm like, I'm not doing that. That is no dream of mine. In some ways, I'm kind of glad that I broke my leg because I've got an out. Like, you can't expect me to go hike 2,000 miles anymore. Like, you better plan on buying an RV, because I'm not hiking that shit.
That's a long hike, man.
Not peeing in the woods. I'm not sleeping on the ground. I'm not showering.
Yeah, I don't blame you there.
I'm not a camping kind of gal. I mean, my parents have a camper, and that's awesome. That's as close to camping as I get.
Well, it's time for this week's Dumbass of the Year. This week's Dumbass of the Year goes to a man in China who really wanted this bicycle, but it was chained to a tree.
Damn, all the best bikes are.
Yeah. As all good bikes should be.
Yeah.
His idea was to cut the tree down. Which he successfully did.
But how? Was he just walking around with an axe? Is he sitting there with his little Swiss Army knife like...
That's not why he's this week's Dumbass of the Year. He cuts the tree down, he gets the bike, and he takes off on a fucking motorcycle.
What?
Yeah, let that sink in for a minute. You have something that is at least 5 times faster.
But you want that bike.
Yeah.
Would he like carry it? He put it on his shoulders? He attach it to the back of his motorcycle with the chain? I don't understand. What are the details?
I have never heard of anything that stupid.
Well, clearly he had an axe in his saddlebags or possibly a hatchet. He's like, you never know when you're going to find a bike you want. I wonder if in the other side he had like lock cutters, bolt cutters.
Yeah, he was caught on film. They recorded the whole thing. He used a saw to cut it down. There's not any real details about it other than he was shown fleeing on a motorcycle with the bike.
Well, I guess you got to get away quick. Why use the bike you just stole? Who takes transportation to steal a bike?
I don't get it. I mean,
maybe it was his kid's birthday.
There has to be. I mean, you're talking China. There's so many people there. Somebody is leaving their bicycle unattended somewhere where you can just go up and take it. This one can't be that damn special where you have to get on a motorcycle, drive to wherever the fuck you are, get a saw, cut down the tree, and hope nobody gets you before you saw the tree down, throw it across your back and take off.
maybe it was his bike that somebody stole from him. Dun, dun, dun.
That could be. Well, you got anything you want to throw out there? Any stuff coming up? I mean, you got
Poop.
you got your bar show, but you don't know exactly what
Oh,
it's
yeah. I
gonna
don't know. That's just something we're getting together, and we'll see what happens. I don't know.
be. Okay. Well, we're going to get out of here. It's very, very hot. I'm in a lot of pain. Not sure if there's going to be a life this week. Just stay tuned, I guess. Subscribe to the podcast and you'll find out. There might be an episode. There might not. We'll see how it goes. But if you do subscribe, we're on iTunes, Google Play Music, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, all that good stuff. You can also like the Facebook page, which I've plugged a million times, so I'm not going to go into that anymore. And
Liar.
and check out the slightly updated website. I've tweaked a few things.
He changed the font. He upgraded the color.
It's fabulous. Just go to the homepage, scroll down, hit that donate button. That's all I really need you to do. I would really appreciate it. Obviously.
His bathroom doesn't have a door on it, people. It doesn't have a door. And we never have any fucking cookies. So
Yeah. I think you'd be a dick if you didn't appreciate it if somebody hit the donate button, wouldn't you?
you would be a dick.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if I need it. I guess it's always good to know if somebody appreciates it. So I guess I should have thrown that out there, but you know.
No, be ungrateful. It'll be different. People like it. It's really heartwarming. It's a good story.
Yeah.
But like, and all these people donated, and then he never said thank you. He just posted pictures of him in Jamaica.
Yeah. See how much money you can donate before I'm grateful.
Please, we need cookies. And a private jet. You gotta do is God's will. I mean,
At least send me $1. I need to get to the doctor. Very, very bad. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Have a great week.
Thanks for listening. Tell your friends about the show and leave a review.
What kind of cheap thrill are you getting out of this?